Do you ever wonder what is intended for or likely to be understood by only a small number? The traditional beliefs, customs, and stories of a community. A community not part of the mainstream, unconventional, peripheral, or extreme. Part of an anthology, a published collection of poems or other pieces of writing. This is Esoteric Lore. I'm your host, Edward Aponte, where I push you to ponder the fringes of folklore. We've been looking at this the wrong way. You might be saying, looking at what? At politics. Politics is not necessarily about Republicans v. Democrats, or blue versus red. It's really about two types of people. It's really about the elites versus the everyday person. Elites are comprised by the rich, the super wealthy, athletes, celebrities, politicians, those who basically make and pass the rules. Everyone else is the everyday person. This came to me as I was watching Morning Joe. Morning Joe is a popular morning show on MSNBC, and it dawned on me as I saw them banter, as they usually do. And there was a segment that just came up, and they would just start talking about groceries and the price of butter. And dear Mika said, "Oh, I go to Whole Foods," and she had the website, she had the tablet open, and on the website she says, "A pound of butter at Whole Food today is $9. Everyone gasped, and everyone kept throwing out their favorite grocery store. And prices were high, $6. And then a man from NBC said something very unique. He said, "I go to Walmart. And at Walmart, that same type of butter is $2.50. And as they, around this round table, discuss prices of butter, I realized that they are all elites. Nothing evil about being an elite. It's just a station in life. A station that garners a great amount of power and resources. The elites. So how do we really view our society? Is it really about Democrats and Republicans? And here's the kicker. The elites are comprised of Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Conservatives, Liberals. You want to use all these titles. The very nature of titles is the fact. It tells us that this is just a battle of elites. We're just pawns in this play. Elites. Let me see if I could speak for a moment to the everyday person. If you go to a bar, sports bar on a Sunday, you have two teams playing. Let's say Packers versus Bears, classic rivalry. Or to move down to West Coast, let's say Chargers, Raiders. Both of these teams have passionate rivalries. But after 3 or 4 hours of battling, there's always a declared winner. There might be words exchanged, but at the end, everyone walks out of the bar, high-fiving, and they move on with their day and the rest of their life, and hopefully we'll do it again next Sunday. Politics is like that, except technically we're not involved in it. We feel it when one of those elite teams wins or loses. So every day it's like going into a sports bar. We see these elite teams, Democrat, Republican, Liberal, Conservatives, Independents, battling out for more power under the guise of, helping the everyday person, the everyday man. That's us. And lately it's been becoming evident that who wins and who loses matters more, a lot more. We could see it in the last 8 to 10 years. The stakes have gone higher. So what does the everyday man do? I saw a TikTok that kind of summarizes best what the everyday man does. As the dust settles from Trump's election victory, there was a meme that's going on TikTok, and it's just basically the hallway of a front door of an apartment, and the guy looks like he's a UPS or FedEx driver. He grabs his lunch pail, opens the door, walks out, and the heading on top is, "If Kamala wins, this is my day." Then the same clip says, "If Trump wins, this is my day." That summarizes the everyday experience. 48 hours after our recent election, this is a fact for you. You went to work Monday before the election. On Tuesday, you went to work during an election. On Wednesday, you went to work after that election. And on Thursday, you'll go to work like every day. Now, if one of these elites and their plays for a better America is a giant fumble, to use the football analogy, let's say you are going to work every day like an everyday person, not an elite. And the particular factory you work in say, Michigan, in the state of Michigan, closes because of that elite's policy And while we may not understand just like when you watch a football play and it's either good or bad, you're like, how? We're not drawing up the play. Elites. They call them cabinet members. In football terms, to use the same analogy, we call those coaches. They draw up the play, and if it works, then everyone's rooting and we win. If it's a fumble or a disastrous outcome from that play, then it affects the fan base. We take that personal. So that same man, everyday man going to work, if his factory gets closed down, he will be pissed. There will be unemployment. The scoreboard will show. The data will show. We call that in the football terminology, scoreboard. Politicians will refer to that more in statistics, data, rates. And there's a complex system that is played on everyday person by this elite empire. Stock markets, interest rates. Frankly, that has nothing to do with my everyday life. Sorry to say. I understand for some of us who invest, we care about, 2-3% interest rates. So if you're buying a home, interest rates, I totally understand that. But part of that is because we are trying to get involved in this complex empire of the elite. Nothing wrong with being an elite. Nothing wrong. It's just that is the chasm that exists between the elites and the everyday person. And most of the time, if there's a fumble on the world stage, the everyday person, not the elites, pay the biggest price. Take, for a small example, this thing we know as war. And look at wars through the lens of the elites and the everyday person. And I'll leave it at that. Just ponder, who goes to war? Who comes back and then is somehow either vilified as a villain or child killer when they didn't even have any saying. This elite thing called the draft. Nothing again wrong with being a veteran. I'm a veteran. I just want us to take a bigger, broader, no pun intended, to take an elite view on this whole enterprise we call globalism. It's all connected. Commerce, industry, the Industrial Revolution, the technological boom. If we stop to pause, that is the division. Division, whether right or wrong, it's a creation of its empire. It's between the elites and everyday person. Regardless of color, race or creed, or gender. Elites come in all colors and stripes, literally. It's about the everyday person. How do you view the world? To quote the great pop iconic film, V for Vendetta. People should not be afraid of their government. Governments should be afraid of their people. That is the definition of elites, governments, and everyday people. That is the big idea. The elites and the everyday people. Learn who they are and learn who you are. The deep state is the elites. The deep state and the elites have always been. There's never been a time when there's no quote unquote deep state. There will always be a quote deep state, which is a euphemism for the elites are in charge. You know if you're an elite, and you know if you're an everyday person. So, as an everyday person, let's ease up on battling between each other. The everyday person. Left, right, conservative, liberal, all these complex titles. Let's just relax. Enter a sports bar together. Have beers. Enjoy our favorite sports. Leave that bar. Get up in the morning. And like an everyday person, go to work. If you like this video, please subscribe, share, and give us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. See you next time.